Great. Okay. Welcome everyone to our Wednesday morning meditation gathering. I'm so glad you're all here to share this time together. Meditation gathers energy and power when we meditate together. This week, we have Jennifer Hadley leading us into meditation. When she finishes, we'll have 20 minutes of silence, and then we'll open it up for sharing, and we'll end at 10:45. So over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. I really appreciate being invited. And it's quite early here in Vermont in the United States. It's just coming on 5 o'clock in the morning. And that's a perfect time for me to meditate. So I'm very grateful that we get to gather. Aren't we blessed that we get to gather and be together and join, because it's so deeply nourishing and healing. So I love to start everything with a prayer and a blessing. And so I'm going to invite you to turn within with me and place your hand on your heart if it feels right to you, because we're being wholehearted here. We're not paying lip service. We're in the service of the heart. So we are grateful and thankful to join together for the holy purpose of healing. We are grateful to come together and join for the purpose of remembering our true nature and our true identity. We partner up with that higher Holy Spirit self. We allow ourselves to be led and guided by our own holiness. We're grateful and thankful in this very moment to recognize that we're already as holy can be. We cannot become any more holy than we already are. Our meditation does not make us more holy. We're already there. So we're grateful to come together like a spiritual bath, clearing away any thought that's not true, any belief that we've acquired along the journey that's false. We're letting it go. And we are grateful and thankful to come together to do this in service to all humanity, to all our brothers and sisters. For truly, when one is lifted, all are lifted. We are grateful to know that this healing has already been accomplished in the infinite mind of God. And so we simply let it be, and we rest in it. We allow it to fully be. Let's take a breath, and if you feel comfortable, keep your eyes closed. You can keep your hand on your heart, or you can drop it into your lap. For me, when I first began to study A Course in Miracles, read A Course in Miracles, contemplate A Course in Miracles, my practice was to sit and read and contemplate early in the morning before the sun came up. And I felt like this was my sacred time with my beloved. And it felt so grateful, just so overwhelmingly grateful that I could have this time with my beloved, and that everything that my beloved wanted to say to me was written in this book. And I could have it. I could have it as much as I liked. And that just felt like the most extraordinary gift in the world to me. And sometimes it would make me weep with gratitude and to cry the tears of old sadness that had been stored up from long ago, when I thought I was a terrible person, when I thought that I was mean and bad and perhaps even evil. Something so really, really, really wrong with me, and that I couldn't find my way to the light, and feeling helpless and hopeless. And when I started to really dive deep into A Course in Miracles, I discovered there were all these sad tears that had been stored away, that the day that I was having right then would never come. And so here we are so, so blessed to have even the faintest awareness of the truth, that we are willing to recognize, to recognize the truth is such an extraordinary gift that we're giving ourselves and sharing with the world. It seems so clear to me right now that those of us who love A Course in Miracles and treasure A Course in Miracles and even have an interest in A Course in Miracles, that we are recognizing not only that we've been called, but that it is our heart's desire to answer that call. Jesus speaks to us through the Course and lets us know that all are called. All are called, all are worthy. And we are answering that call. We are recognizing the call again every day. And it's so clear in these times that we're having right now, times of intense challenge in many ways, financial challenges and health challenges, global challenges, so much turmoil in the world, that it is our job to hold the form, to be form holders in the mind of the new heaven and the new earth, our true reality coming into clarity in our minds and the minds of all. Truly, this is the thing that we have been born to do, to be truly helpful. And one of the greatest gifts that we can give to our Creator, to our elder brother Jesus, and to all the teachers, visible and invisible, one of the greatest gifts we can give in this moment now is to give up trying to understand anything and to recognize that there is that within us that already knows. Within our awareness is the knower who knows. Call it the Holy Spirit, call it the I Am Presence, call it the higher self. We have direct access to all wisdom, all knowing, all loving. We are the beloved of the beloved. We are the ones that we were waiting for. And now is the time of our activation.
I'm putting it on the phone. So
It's more apparent than ever that there is nothing to seek outside of ourselves that has any real value. We've been given this time of quarantine to focus inward. And to recognize that everywhere we go, every conversation we have, everything we are doing, we are contributing to the transformation of all minds and the full realization of the Christ is our responsibility. And yet, how amazing that we don't have to make it happen. We don't know how to make it happen because it's not our job to make it happen. Our responsibility is simply to be willing to allow it to happen. We don't figure out how. We allow. That's our only true responsibility. Our spiritual practice is to get out of the way, to give up the false beliefs, to surrender them. So, in this time that we've appointed to gather together and focus on the truth and to listen to that one voice of truth, I'm inviting you to bring to the forefront of your mind any belief, a belief that perhaps you've been struggling with, or it appears to run your life. It might simply be separation, or it might be sense of unworthiness, a sense of lack or limitation, but some belief that comes up every day for healing. And I'm inviting you to see in your mind's eye, pulling it out of your heart and placing it on the altar of God's love. Sometimes I like to see on the altar in my mind a holy fire. I like to work with the violet flame. You can see a violet flame fire on your altar and offer that belief to that violet flame. You can see Jesus or Mother Mary or Kuan Yin or Buddha or any being that you love and trust, offering it to them. Whatever this false belief is that's foundational to your false identity, just offering it, being willing to hand it over, to give it up, to surrender it on behalf of all humanity. And in this moment, let us be willing to be willing, willing to live as teachers of God, humbly recognizing our holiness, our perfection, our magnificence, our beauty. These are the things that we share with every being. And in cultivating our willingness, we are willing to see the magnificence, the beauty, the holiness in our brothers and sisters. And we can call to mind anyone that we've been making an exception about, anyone we're seeing as less than holy, less than beautiful, less than magnificent. They may be showing up as ugly, angry, demented, unloving, unkind, merciless. But it's our job not to buy the illusion. So this moment we're taking to strengthen and to truly be helpful by seeing our brothers and sisters in their magnificence, in their perfection, in their holiness. They are helping us to see our own magnificence, holiness, beauty, and perfection. It is our responsibility to see the truth, to know the truth, to affirm the truth. Our willingness is the only requirement. And this is the path of liberation. We are on it and we rejoice that everything we need is already pre-installed. There's nothing in the world we need. We have it all already. We are seeking the kingdom. Everything is being added unto us. And so in our meditation, in our silence, let us rest in this deep, deep gratitude. Deep, deep gratitude that after so many lifetimes of seeking and not finding, we're at the place of finding. Our teacher is with us always. Everything we need is within us. And we have brothers and sisters to hold our hands, to walk with us and talk with us. We are golden. We have it all. And this is where we rest, in the silence. Notice where your attention is. If it wandered, bring it back to the Christ light and the gratitude.
Okay, everyone, open your eyes slowly and come back into the room. We have about 12 minutes left for sharing your comments and your questions. If you'd like to speak, please use the reactions button at the bottom of the screen, and I'll take you off of mute. That way I can see everybody who wants to speak. If you'd like to ask Jennifer a question or make a comment with confidentiality, and you put your message in the chat function at the bottom, and I'll read it out. Masako, would you like to share something? We'll unmute you. There we go.
Oh, hello, Jennifer. Thank you very much I listen to your prayers every day, and I've always wanted to meet in person, but it never happened. And I'm so glad, and thank you for this beautiful prayer. And I always follow you every day. And yeah, you're like my big sister, although I'm much older than you. And I just love to listen to you or read your blogs and everything. So I'm so glad, Jennifer, to finally have the opportunity to say thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, other than that, I have not really a question. Just wanted to thank you. And I'm sorry I had the opportunity to say something to you.
I feel also blessed to meet a prayer partner. I'm so glad to be with you.
Yes, every day. Shall I mute so other people can talk?
For those who don't know, I've been recording a prayer every day and publishing it for about 14 years now.
Yes. All right, so shall I mute so other people can talk?
You can raise your hand as well, because I can actually see.
Oh, mute.
I can have a comment or anything. Angela. Yes.
Mute. Hi, everybody, and hi, Jennifer. Thank you so much. That was really, really beautiful. I felt myself going very relaxed and very contemplative, as you were talking about. And so I enjoyed it very much. Thank you. Beautiful. Also, you started a song going in my head because you said we're golden. We are golden, you said. So there's a song that says we are stardust, we are golden, and we've got to get ourselves back to the garden, which of course is what it's talking about, getting back home, isn't it, to heaven. So I had that, I can't remember who sang it or even the rest of it, but that bit I had going round in my head. I thought, is that where you got that line from? We are golden.
No, but I know that Joni Mitchell song that Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young made a wonderful recording of too, and yeah, that's it. We're going back to the garden.
Yeah, it's very meaningful, isn't it?
It is.
I wanted to thank you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Terry, I'll take you.
Yeah, I got the same song in my head as well, and I think it was Matthew Southern Comfort who had the big hit in the Flower Power era. It's a great song, and I think also, Jennifer, you used the image of golden, and that's a concept of the sense of the golden Buddha that's shrouded by all of life's clag, if you like. And when we have experiences like we just have with yourself, which was wonderful, it's almost like that clag just kind of leaves us, doesn't it? And reveals our golden essence so that we can shine. And I like the other word that you repeated a lot, willingness. It's such an important word. And so thank you for being willing to get up so early. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, it's my pleasure. And thank you. And something that's been coming up a lot lately with many people, or they're asking me about it, is when I talk about willingness or I talk about intention, sometimes people say, well, what does that really mean? And I feel it's so important to contemplate it, not just accept it. We hear so many things, especially as Course in Miracles students. We hear so many repeated phrases and truths that we accept them, but we don't really embody them and embrace them because we haven't really contemplated them. And contemplation or contemplative meditation is one of my go-to things, and because it's in that I feel like Spirit really teaches me and speaks to me. It's in a gentle way, and I've seen in my own life that I can say I have an intention to be kind, I have an intention to be loving, but then there are opportunities that present themselves to me that are challenging, and I've completely forgotten my intention, and I get annoyed, I get frustrated, I get irritated, I get snappish, snarky, as we say here, and I've forgotten my intention. So always going back to my intention and starting every day with anchoring it in my intention is, to me, the absolute foundation. It's the depth and the breadth of my spiritual practice, is that willingness, that intention to be willing to practice in every moment and make no exceptions. And to be able to practice that with no exceptions in a rigorous but such a gentle and loving way. Oh, Jennifer, you made an exception there. What can you learn from that? Hold no judgment against myself for making an exception and being irritated or frustrated or annoyed. Because Jesus tells us in the Course, in this human experience, it is not possible to have no judgments, no complaints, no criticisms. It's not possible. So let us not pretend that it is, and judge ourselves for not being perfect. Instead, let us accept it. We already are perfect. We can't become imperfect. It's not even possible.
Thank you. We'd like to ask you a question. John, would you?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Jennifer. That was fantastic and exactly what I needed this morning. My goodness, was that directed? Because, and just what you've been sharing is so honest. I love the fact you talked about your tears. And I can remember when I first started this journey, I had an ocean of tears. And anybody when I was in the groups I was in, would say nice things about me and things they saw in me, I would just burst into tears. And that was just a level of all the years of self-hatred that I'd stored away and the grief of holding all that. And this morning, the reason that was so powerful, that meditation you did and that visualization about tearing the thing out of my heart and putting it on the altar with Jesus there, was so powerful, because I had a message from my former wife and mother of my kids, and telling me that because we're heading home from the Canary Islands tomorrow, back to England for the first time in 10 months. And she announced that none of the children who are aged between 24 and 48 would be allowed to see me because of what's going on. And I felt it brought up everything in me, So I tore that feeling, and the feeling was that I'm not a good enough father, the belief that I used. And I tore it out of my heart, as you said, and I put it on the altar, onto the purple flame of the fire. And when it first arrived, it was just Jesus there. And as I dropped it in the fire, suddenly all my 6 children and 6 grandchildren and my wife and friends and family, they were all there, and they were all throwing their hats in the air and cheering. And it felt so good. So it was really, really powerful. I appreciate it very much. Thank you so much for that. Thank you.
Ah, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Lynn, like to share something?
Yes, I would. Thank you. And thank you, John. That was what I was going to say about offering our misthoughts, our, I don't know, our soreness, our pain on the altar. It felt so, it's such a beautiful feeling, beautiful act to do. And it's just reminded me how much it affirms my willingness for devotion, which I don't often kind of think about with the Course in Miracles. It's not particularly, it doesn't sort of, it doesn't talk about acts of devotion as such, but that's what it reminded me of, and it was so beautiful. So thank you, Jennifer. That's all. Thank you.
Ah, beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, we can do A Course in Miracles in a very devotional way. For me to have that as a part of my life, to light, candles, and to do all kinds of things. Like I pray over my food and bless my food. And in all my classes, we start and end with a prayer. In my counseling sessions, we start and end with a prayer. And making prayers throughout the day. And in my community, we have a prayer ministry. We gather and pray, whoever would like to, every 3 hours now since the lockdown started. And we've got people all over the world. So every 3 hours, we're praying together. And being devotional, being a devotee of the Christ within is what spiritual practice is. I wasn't raised in a religion. My parents were not religious people. My grandparents were very devoted Christians, but they never were dogmatic, or they never. But they lived the Christian teachings in terms of going to church and reading the Bible. But they never tried to convert me or teach me about it. They just lived it, They modeled it. They took food to their neighbors, and they helped where they were needed and drove people to the hospital, and they did things like that. So they modeled that devotional life in a very I felt the sacredness of life without the religiosity, and my parents also helped me to really, really respect all people, and to realize that everybody deserves our respect and our love and our care, and that's my family's way. And so for me, I've taken it a step further, I think, to realize even more fully, I deserve my respect and my care. I am a sacred being. My holiness helps heal the world. So I need to place my attention on that in order to be truly helpful. And so that's part of my responsibility. I have the ability to respond to everything in this world with love and compassion. And it's interesting, I don't remember where in one of my classes, it came up recently about someone who's newer to the course was saying, uh, some people say nothing in this world matters. So how do I approach my life if nothing in this world matters? And I I feel so strongly it's true that we've given everything in the world all the meaning that it has for us. Everything, everything. And everything matters. Every choice we make matters because every choice that we make, we're either being truly helpful or we're not. And we have an opportunity to be truly helpful. If in the last moment we were destructive, not constructive, but destructive, we can be truly helpful in this moment by forgiving ourselves for that moment. And that's how we add to the light of the world. So seeing this is our sacred opportunity. I truly feel that we are, this is the time that we have been preparing for right now. This is the time that we were born for, that we've been preparing for, and that we are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the answered prayer. And our job, we don't have to figure out how. We just have to allow Spirit to lead and guide us in every moment. And we know that our teacher Jesus found every moment sacred, everything sacred, which we can be afraid of it because if we think, oh, there's this sacred moment, this sacred opportunity, but I don't know how to embrace it. I don't know how to make it happen or to appreciate it, then we're judging ourselves. And if we can just say, I don't have to figure out how. I don't have to, because Spirit's going to show me, and all I need to do is be willing. I just need to be willing to make doing the dishes a healing experience. I just need to be willing to make cooking the food a healing experience. I just need to be willing to make walking the dog a beautiful experience. I have a friend who is in our classes who he started to practice this. He likes to run. He's a runner. So he goes out for exercise. He runs through his neighborhood. And he decided he was going to smile and wave to everyone he saw in his walk. In his run. And so he started doing that. And at first people were like, what? Like, do I know you? And now they're like, hey. And there's a woman in our classes who decided to practice it this way. She has in her office where she works, she has a desk near the door where people enter. So she decided that every morning when people came through the door, just whenever people come through the door, she was going to greet them. It's not her job. She's not a receptionist. And some people who their desk is near the door, they become like, I don't want to see you. You're interrupting me. You're in my space. But she decided to say, oh, you're in my space. I'm going to give you a spiritual hug with a smile and a greeting. Good morning. Hey, Dan, how are you? Hey, Therese. Hey, Sandy. Hi, Nancy. Like that. And good morning. Give everybody a sense, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here. We're gathering together to spend our day together. So before she started that practice, the office didn't feel like a happy place. And the owner was not a person who was a community builder, right? And so her shifted the culture in the office. And after a few months, the owner was saying, hey, let's have lunch together. Let's get some pizzas in here and let's order takeout. So they started having lunches together. And the whole culture of the office began to ripple out from one person saying, I'm just going to say hello to my brothers and sisters. That's all. Just good morning, greeting them with love in her heart, extending the Christ light. Of course, it helped heal her heart too, right? To give all to all. And never in my life have I felt it was more important to do this. And so I've been saying this now for a few months. If you know anybody you think is alone, and because we've had this intense lockdown, as I know that you have too, and I'm not following precisely where you are with it right now, but I've basically been in lockdowns for the most part since the middle of March. I've been in Vermont now for a few months. It's a very rural community, so we'll get together, and I've had friends where they've come to visit, and we didn't distance or anything. We hugged, we kissed, and because I felt safe and they felt safe. But there are many people this is really challenging for in many different ways. People are homeschooling their children, or they can't send them to camp for the summer, and they can't go to summer activities. It's very challenging. And people who are alone a lot of the time, and that may be you. And so to really reach out and stay in touch and make prayer circles, and to check in on people that maybe you've never checked in on your whole life. They've been your neighbors for 30 years, to just go and check in on them anyway, and maybe do something different. And you might, feel uncomfortable, but you could make a double batch of brownies and say, oh, I made all these brownies and it's really too much for me. Could you take some of them for me? As a way of kind of introducing the connection and the communication. I'm so clear that spiritual practice that we must keep most in our mind right now is, how can we extend kindness? Be kind to ourselves and extend it out there. That it makes an unbelievable difference in the world. So I felt so strongly that to share that with you. It just feels like the message of the moment, that how can we extend even more kindness and connection.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. That was wonderful. Thank you for your sharing. It so touched my heart, and I'm sure everyone else. Please take yourself off mute and thank Jennifer.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Jennifer, thank you. Absolutely wonderful, and so
much.
So wonderful. See you too. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Thank you, darling Teresa.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.